Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let me keep it real with you. I didn't come here tonight to comfort you. I didn't come here to tell you life is easy or that success will knock on your door if you just wait long enough. I came here to tell you the truth. Your comfort zone is your enemy. It's not your safe space. It's not your sanctuary. It's a trap, a quiet little prison with invisible walls, and it's stealing everything you were born to become. See, comfort doesn't come with warning signs. It comes with softness, with routines, with the voice in your head that says, relax, you're doing fine, take it easy. But deep down, you know that voice is lying. Because you weren't made for average, you weren't made for stillness, you were made for war, for growth, for greatness, and none of that exists inside your comfort zone. Every dream you've got, every goal, every breakthrough, every version of yourself that you haven't met yet, it's all waiting outside the walls of comfort, and the only way to get there is to break free. So tonight, we start a fire, not in the world, not in the room, in you. We're about to tear down the walls you've been hiding behind: fear, excuses, laziness, doubt, and remind you exactly what you're made of. Because from this moment forward, there's no going back. Your comfort zone is your enemy, and now we fight. Let me tell you something real, something most people don't want to hear. Comfort is not your friend. It's not looking out for you. It's not trying to protect you. Comfort is the silent killer that takes your dreams and strangles them slowly without you even realizing it. It's that soft pillow when you should be getting up. It's that extra scroll on social media when you should be building something. And it's that voice in your head whispering, it's okay, you've done enough, but deep down, you know you haven't. Comfort doesn't show up like a villain in a movie. It doesn't break into your house and scream, I'm here to ruin your life. No, comfort is subtle, it's sneaky. It slides into your life disguised as peace, disguised as taking a break. And before you know it, a day turns into a week. A week turns into a month turns into a year, and that fire you had, that spark, that big dream you couldn't shut up about, it's gone, not because someone stole it, but because you let it die in comfort. Let me tell you about Malik, a friend I grew up with. Talented dude, smart, great with people. He had the heart of a lion and the voice of a leader. He used to talk about building his own business, giving back to his community, being a man people looked up to. We believed in him. Hell, he believed in himself. But every time life challenged him to level up, he found a reason to stay put. I'll start next month. I'm just waiting for the right time. I need to feel ready. 10 years passed. Malik was still at the same job he hated, living paycheck to paycheck, tired, bitter, and full of regret. I asked him once, what happened, bro? He looked at me with tears in his eyes and said, I got comfortable. Those 3 words haunted me. I got comfortable. That's all it takes. Not failure, not rejection, not even bad luck, just comfort. See, we weren't built for comfort. You don't grow in comfort. You don't become stronger by playing it safe. You become stronger by putting yourself in the fire, by showing up when it hurts, by doing the things you don't want to do when no one's watching, when no one's clapping, when no one's offering a reward. That's where greatness is born. Let me ask you something right now. What dream are you sitting on because it feels safer to wait? What habit are you avoiding because it's easier to scroll, binge, watch, or complain? Who could you be if you stopped making excuses and started chasing pain on purpose? Listen, the version of you that you admire. The one that's fit, focused, fearless. They don't live in your comfort zone. They live on the other side of it. The only way to meet that person is to go through the pain, through the late nights, through the rejection, through the fear, through the blood, sweat, and tears. You want to change your life, then you've got to declare war on your comfort zone, burn it to the ground, because the longer you stay there, the more it becomes your prison. A cozy little jail cell with no bars, but with walls made of regret. Every time your alarm goes off and you hit snooze, comfort wins. Every time you say, I'll do it tomorrow, comfort wins. Every time you choose average over effort, comfort wins. And every time comfort wins, you lose a little bit of yourself. But here's the good news. You can flip the script right now. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need anyone's permission. All you need is the decision to stop living soft and start living strong. So get up, get uncomfortable, push the limits, and remind the world and yourself that you were not born to live a life of ease. You were born to conquer, to fight, to rise, and to build something legendary. Because comfort may feel good today, but one day it'll cost you everything. Let's break this down right now. If you're waiting for life to get easy before you level up, let me save you the disappointment. Easy is a lie. Growth doesn't live where it's comfortable. Growth doesn't show up when you're chilling on the couch, watching your 10th episode of nothing. Growth lives in discomfort. Growth lives in that burning zone of uncertainty, challenge, and effort. And if you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing. Think about it. When you hit the gym and lift weights, you tear muscle fibers. That pain, that soreness, that's your body growing. That's your strength being built not in rest, but in resistance. The exact same principle applies to your mind, your will, your discipline, your purpose. If there's no struggle, there's no strength. If there's no discomfort, there's no growth. Period. Let me tell you a true story. There was a kid not rich, no connections, no silver spoon, just a vision and a dream. He wanted to become a Navy SEAL. You know how hard that is. Over 70% of applicants quit. They get broken by Hell Week, the cold, the exhaustion, the mental torture. But this kid, he didn't quit. Why? Because he trained himself to live in discomfort. He ran with weights in the rain. He did push-ups on broken glass. He took cold showers every morning, not because he had to, but because he wanted to harden his spirit. He made it through, not because he was the fastest or the strongest, but because he was comfortable being uncomfortable. That man is David Goggins, and today, he's one of the toughest human beings walking this planet. And that right there is the blueprint. Step into the discomfort on purpose. Chase the struggle. Run towards the challenge, because that's where your next level is hiding. Now, I'm not saying you need to suffer 24/7. I'm saying you need to understand the value of discomfort. Discomfort is your personal trainer. It's your coach. It's your wake-up call. It's the moment when your mind says, I can't, but your heart says, watch me. When you do something that scares you, you grow. When you speak up in that meeting, even though your voice shakes, you grow. When you start that side hustle with zero support, you grow. When you show up to the gym after a 12-hour shift, you grow. Every uncomfortable moment is a deposit into your future strength account, and trust me, it adds up. The problem is, too many people live soft lives with hard regrets. They avoid discomfort like it's poison, but end up drinking a slow death instead. A death of potential, a death of dreams, a death of purpose. They choose the easy path and wake up 20 years later wondering where the time went. Don't let that be you. You've got a dream. Good. Now be ready to bleed for it. Be ready to get rejected, to fail, to cry, to doubt yourself. Be ready to show up anyway. That's the difference between the people who talk and the people who build. One seeks comfort, the other seeks growth. And let me be real, the first time you step into discomfort, it's going to suck. Your legs will shake, your mind will scream, your fear will punch you in the gut, but keep moving, because the pain is temporary, but the growth is forever. You know that goal that keeps you up at night, that future you're dreaming about, it's not sitting inside your comfort zone. It's sitting on the edge of risk, on the edge of fear, on the edge of that thing you've been avoiding. Go there, live there, that's where champions are made. You don't become great by chance. You become great by choice, by choosing the path of fire, by embracing the suck, by chasing what others run from. So from this moment forward, stop fearing discomfort. Start honoring it. Start using it. Because every time you step into the fire, you rise stronger. You evolve. You grow. Growth is not found in ease. Growth lives in discomfort, and that's exactly where you belong. Let me break this truth down for you. Your comfort zone isn't just holding you back. It's feeding you a steady diet of excuses, and the more you stay in it, the more convincing those excuses become. The comfort zone doesn't just protect you from fear, it breeds weakness. It whispers, not today, you're tired, you're busy, you're not ready. And if you listen long enough, you'll start believing the lies. Excuses don't show up loud, they're soft, they're sweet, they make sense in the moment, but the truth, they're poison, sugar-coated poison that feels good going down but kills your growth over time. Think about it. Every time you hit snooze on your alarm instead of getting up to work out, you say, just 5 more minutes. That's not a reason, that's an excuse. When you skip studying and tell yourself, I'll catch up tomorrow, that's not strategy, that's an excuse. When you don't launch your business, don't speak your truth, don't chase your dream, and say, it's not the right time, that's not patience, it's a lie you've learned to tell yourself to stay comfortable. And it's not just you, we've all done it. I've done it. But the winners, the warriors, recognize the excuse and shut it down because they know excuses multiply. They grow. You give them 1 inch, and they take your entire future. Let me tell you about someone I trained with years ago. A young man, ambitious, strong, had that fire. He wanted to be a champion powerlifter, had the body, the mindset, the raw talent. But he had one problem. He was addicted to comfort. He'd say, I'll train harder next week, or I don't want to risk injury right now, or I need more time to prepare. On the surface, it sounded smart, even responsible, but underneath, it was fear. It was avoidance. It was excuses dressed up in fancy clothes. 3 years passed, still the same weights, the same talk, the same dreams. Nothing had changed, and I'll never forget what he told me. Bro, I don't know how I got stuck. I looked him dead in the eye and said, you didn't get stuck. You stood still and made excuses. That's the reality. Excuses don't stop you, you stop you. Your comfort zone gives excuses a home. It gives them a place to grow. You feed them with every delay, every hesitation, every time you choose the easy road. But here's the flip side. Step outside your comfort zone, and those excuses start dying. They can't survive when you're grinding. They can't breathe when you're taking action. You want to starve your excuses. Start moving. You've got to become the kind of person who does it anyway. Tired? Do it anyway. Scared? Do it anyway. Not in the mood. Do it anyway. That's how you build discipline. That's how you kill excuses. That's how you win. Look around. Every successful person you admire, every giant you look up to, they had every excuse in the world to quit. And most of them had way harder lives than you. They didn't have comfort. They had pain. They had pressure. But they chose to use it as fuel. Think about someone like Kai Johnson, a rising football star who got hit so hard on the field that he lost the use of his right arm. His career over, his dream gone. He could have quit. He could have lived the rest of his life inside the excuse of what happened to me, but he didn't. He stood up. He turned pain into purpose. Today, he's one of the most powerful motivational speakers in the world. No excuses, just results. So I'm asking you right now, what excuse are you hiding behind? Is it, I don't have time, then make time? Is it, I don't have the money, then hustle until you do? Is it, people don't believe in me? Then believe in yourself twice as hard. You either make progress or you make excuses. You don't get to do both. Your comfort zone, it's like a garden where excuses grow like weeds. And if you don't burn that garden down, one day you'll wake up buried in what-ifs and should-haves. So the next time you hear that soft voice trying to justify laziness, recognize it for what it is, the voice of your enemy, and silence it with action, discipline, fire, purpose, because once you stop making excuses, there's nothing left to stop you. Let me hit you with the truth that most people run from. The world doesn't reward comfort, it rewards courage, it rewards action, it rewards hunger, it rewards pain, but comfort might get you by. But it will never make you unforgettable. It will never make you a leader, a champion, or a legend. The world doesn't hand out trophies to people who meant well or felt tired. It crowns the ones who showed up even when it was hard. If you're waiting for greatness to come, find you, while you're sitting on the couch playing it safe, wake up. The world doesn't care about your potential if you're not willing to do something with it. Talent means nothing if you're too comfortable to use it. The world is full of people with dreams, plans, ideas, and empty resumes, because they stayed where it felt easy, where it felt familiar, where it felt safe. Let me paint you a picture. You walk into a stadium, 80s 0, people screaming, the lights are blinding, the pressure is suffocating, but standing in the middle of it all is one person, calm, focused, ready. Why? Because they trained when no one was watching. They bled when it wasn't popular. They sacrificed when others were sleeping. That's the person who gets rewarded, not the one who said, "I'll try when I feel like it." The one who did it no matter what. Let me give you a real story. You know about Oprah Winfrey, one of the most powerful women on the planet. But what people forget is what she had to go through to get there. Born into poverty, abused, fired from her first TV job because they said she wasn't fit for television. Most people would have folded. Most people would have said, "This isn't for me." But not her. She leaned into the pain. She embraced the fire. She left comfort behind and kept showing up. Now she owns her own network. That's not luck. That's warrior discipline. That's discomfort turned into legacy. Here's what you need to understand. Comfort makes you forget you're in a fight. It makes you soft, and soft people don't win hard battles. The world is built by people who dared to be uncomfortable, the ones who left behind everything they knew and went into the unknown, swinging. Think about Elon Musk. He made hundreds of millions from PayPal. He could have retired, disappeared into a beachside mansion, lived a life of comfort. But he risked it all on Tesla and SpaceX companies that almost broke him. He slept in factories. He faced bankruptcy. He had the entire world betting against him. But he didn't chase comfort, he chased greatness. And that's why his name is in history books, not on excuses. The truth is, most people want the reward, but they don't want the risk. They want the destination, but not the journey. They want the crown, but not the battle. And that's why they stay small. That's why they live and die inside the comfort zone, unknown, untested, unfulfilled. But not you. If you've read this far, it means something inside you is stirring. Something inside you is done with average. Something inside you is tired of settling, tired of shrinking, tired of letting comfort call the shots. You've got one shot at this life one, and what you do with it will either echo for generations or fade before the dust settles. So ask yourself right now, what are you willing to walk away from to become the person you were meant to be? Are you willing to give up sleep, distractions, ego, comfort? Because the world isn't going to give you anything. You've got to take it. You've got to wake up earlier, train harder, think deeper, show up stronger. And when your legs shake and your voice cracks and your back's against the wall, that's the moment you keep going. That's the moment you make your mark, because at the end of the day, this world rewards the brave, the focused, the relentless, not the comfortable. Let me tell you something that most people never realize. Fear isn't always loud. It doesn't always show up kicking and screaming. Sometimes fear shows up wearing a disguise. And its favorite mask, comfort. See, most people aren't lazy, they're not weak, they're not unmotivated, they're scared and they don't even know it, because fear has a funny way of wrapping itself in excuses that sound reasonable. I'll wait for the right time, I need to be more prepared, I'm not ready yet. You know what that really is. That's fear hiding inside comfort. Comfort is the warm blanket that tells you to stay in bed instead of chasing your purpose. It's the voice that says, play it safe, don't risk it. What if you fail? What if they laugh? It's fear pretending to care about you, but it doesn't. It wants to trap you, hold you down, make sure you never become who you were born to be. I've seen it in real life. Let me tell you about Zara. She was one of the most gifted artists I'd ever met. Her sketches could silence a room. Her vision was bold, raw, powerful. But every time someone encouraged her to open an online store or showcase her work, she'd say, "I'm not ready yet. I want it to be perfect." She said that for 5 years. Do you see what happened there? Her perfectionism wasn't discipline, it was fear in disguise. Comfort told her, stay small, stay safe, don't put yourself out there. And she listened, not because she didn't want to grow, but because fear was whispering sweet lies from a cozy corner of her comfort zone. And that's exactly how dreams die, not from failure, but from fear dressed up as comfort. Look, your mind is built to protect you. It wants to keep you safe, avoid pain, minimize risk. That worked back in the cave days when a wrong step meant death. But today, that same instinct is what keeps you stuck in average. You don't need protection from discomfort, you need exposure to it. Let me flip this on you, that thing you've been putting off, that business you haven't launched. That conversation you keep avoiding, that bold move you're too busy to make. That's not about time, it's not about money, it's not even about skills. It's about fear, fear of failing, fear of being seen, fear of judgment, fear of losing, and that fear sits quietly in your comfort zone, feeding you just enough peace to stop you from breaking free. But here's the catch. The things you're afraid of, they're exactly where your greatness lies. Every legendary moment in your life is waiting on the other side of fear. Every breakthrough, every victory, every transformation, they're all hiding in the zone you're afraid to enter. And if you don't face that fear, if you don't strip the mask off comfort and call it what it is, you'll live your whole life in a padded room with no fire, no fight, no fulfillment. Let me tell you something about every warrior, every champion, every real-life giant. They felt the fear. But they moved anyway. They took the leap. They made the call. They stood on the stage. They pressed record. They risked being misunderstood, mocked, judged, and broken. But they did it because they knew fear was a test and comfort was the trap. Don't get it twisted. Comfort isn't peace, it's paralysis. It's not your protector, it's your prison. And if you stay in it, that fear you thought you were avoiding, it doesn't go away, it grows. And one day, it becomes regret. And regret, that's a pain no man or woman should ever carry. So here's the challenge right now. Name your fear, stare it down, rip the mask off your comfort zone and see it for what it really is. Then move. Speak, act, build, run, because fear loses its power the moment you confront it. Your dream is not hiding from you. It's waiting on you to stop hiding from it. And the second you do, the second you choose courage over comfort, you become unbreakable. Let me ask you something personal. Have you ever stopped to think about the person you could become, the future version of you who is stronger, wiser, fearless, and powerful? That version of you is not just a fantasy. He's real, she's real, but here's the truth. They're watching you right now, and they're begging you to break free. Break free from what? From that comfort zone that's slowly killing your potential. Your future self is waiting on the other side of your excuses, waiting on the other side of your laziness, waiting on the other side of every choice you make today. That version of you is not built in the future, it's built in this moment. In these uncomfortable decisions, in these hard days when no one is clapping, when no one is watching, and you still show up anyway. But here's the reality. If you don't break free now, you're going to look in the mirror 10 years from today and see the exact same person, same weight, same job, same mindset, same life. You'll still be talking about the same dreams, but you won't have moved an inch closer to them. Why? Because you chose to stay where it felt easy instead of where it demanded growth. That version of you, the one with fire in their eyes and strength in their spine, is begging you to stop negotiating with average. They are screaming, please don't waste this life. Please don't let fear steal our destiny. Please do something now so we don't suffer later. Let me tell you a story. There was a man in his late 40s. Corporate job, decent money, but you could see it in his eyes he was empty. I asked him one day, what's something you wish you had done? He didn't even hesitate. I wanted to be a writer. He said, I had notebooks full of ideas when I was young, but life got in the way. No, my brother, life didn't get in the way. Comfort did. Fear did. Excuses did. And now his dream lives in a journal instead of on shelves in hearts in the world. Your future self doesn't want more money, it wants more meaning. It wants you to build something that matters, something you can be proud of. But that will never happen if you keep choosing what's easy over what's necessary. You think staying in your comfort zone is a favor to yourself. It's not. It's a betrayal, because every day you choose the easy route, you delay the life you were meant to live. Every time you skip the work, avoid the challenge, or run from discomfort, you are choosing short-term relief at the cost of long-term greatness. And the crazy thing is, we know this. Deep down, we know it. You don't need a motivational speech to tell you that staying in the same place year after year is draining your soul. What you need is a reminder. You are not doing this for who you are now, you're doing this for who you can become. You want to be a great parent one day, build discipline now. You want to be a millionaire, build work ethic now. You want to be respected, build character now. Everything you're hoping for starts with a decision today. One more workout, one more page, one more hour of study, one more day of staying locked in while the world is distracted, because that's what your future self needs, a version of you that doesn't flinch when life hits hard. A version of you that's been forged in discomfort, a version of you that's earned every inch of strength through sacrifice. Picture your older self looking back at today. What would they say? Would they thank you? Or resent you? Would they say, I'm proud of you? Or would they say, why didn't you try harder when we still had time? The clock is ticking, and every moment you spend staying the same is a moment you're stealing from your own future, from your own family, from your own legacy. So here's your wake-up call. Don't let the future version of you suffer because the current version of you was too comfortable. Break free. Break the pattern. Break the excuses. Become the person your future self can stand tall and salute. Because in the end, when it's all said and done, your future self won't care how tired you were, how busy you were, or how scared you were. They'll only care about one thing. Did you rise or did you settle?